I just saw that you're.
What do you believe?
I'm a Christian.
What kind of Christian?
Right now, I go to a non-denominational church, but
What, Trinitarian?
yes, I'm a Trinitarian.
All right. Okay.
And
So let me see. All right. Let me see if I can address your question. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Well, what is it?
so I watched your video the other day on Matthew 24, and
Yes.
I used to think that it only applied to the second coming, but
Yes.
you explained to me the partial preterism,
Yes.
and I was watching your Daniel 9:24 through 27 the other day as well, and you
Okay.
explained how that was fulfilled in the Jewish War, the 7-year Jewish War, with the 66 to 73 AD.
Yep. What about it?
But when Daniel says time, times, and half a time,
Yeah, that's in Daniel 12. Yes, we know what
yeah,
we're talking about.
and John uses the same language in Revelation.
Yeah.
Is
What
there
does
a
that got to
connection
do?
there, or is that
No.
just
No, because there are two events. If we believe the Bible is consistent, doesn't contradict. We have to first assume and believe that, because there are liberal scholars who don't think that Daniel's consistent. It's contradictory. You have in Daniel, if you read from chapters, sorry, the cat's bothering me. Chapter, let me do this. Hold on. Okay, yep. Let me just do this. The cat's bothering me, guys. I can't figure out. Okay. If you read Daniel chapters 8 to 12, but specifically you can read Daniel 10 to 12. There you're going to see, it's also Daniel 7 and 8, but specifically go to 10 to 12. Get you a good commentary, a conservative commentary, because if you read a liberal commentary, they're going to try to create contradictions and try to show that Daniel's not really historical and it's written after the fact. But if you ignore that, you're going to see that the little horn that's mentioned in Daniel 8, that's also alluded to in Daniel 7, refers historically to Antiochus Epiphanes or Epiphanes the Fourth. He's the one that came and slaughtered thousands of Jews, put an end to sacrifice because he took over the temple in Jerusalem and defiled it by building an altar to Zeus and slaughtering a pig. That was in 167 BC, December 167 BC. Fast forward 2 years later, December 25th, 165 BC, Judas Maccabees and his army conquered Antiochus, defeated his army, reclaimed the temple, hence beginning Hanukkah. So you're going to see that most of what is written is about him, Antiochus. But then Daniel goes beyond Antiochus. You read 40 to 45, Daniel 11, 40, 45, says things that never happened to Antiochus. But then Daniel 12 also speaks about time, times, and half a times that will then coincide at the end of the age when the dead are raised. Well, that never happened. Well, that's when Revelation comes and picks up on that and shows you that there's an element in which Antiochus becomes a picture of a more wicked, evil tyrant and ruler, the Antichrist. But that's got nothing to do with Matthew 24, because Matthew 24 does not mention time, times, and half a times.
Yeah, I just brought up Matthew 24 because that's a case of partial preterism. So I was asking if Daniel 9 is also partial preterism.
The entirety of Daniel 9 is all about 70 AD. However, Daniel 11, 40 to 45, and Daniel 12 goes beyond the first century and will coincide when the dead will be raised physically from the dust. That hasn't happened.
So Daniel 9, that 7-year Jewish war is a shadow of the more evil ruler to come.
Time times half a time is only 3.5 years. There is no 7 years. You're confusing 3.5 years mentioned in Daniel 12 and 3.5 years in Revelation. There is no 7 years in Revelation. There is no 7 years in Daniel 12. Keep the 7 years separate from the 3.5 years.
But in Revelation 11 and 12, the 3.5 years is in both of those chapters. Is that the same period, or is that two different periods?
Because Revelation it's cyclical. It repeats the same judgments, right? From different angles, different perspectives. So those 3.5 years are not two different 3.5 years.
Okay, so it's the same period of time.
Yep. In other words, it's what I say cyclical means cycle. He'll repeat the same, let's say, plagues, but from different perspective, different angles. Right? So it's a cycle in which the same, let's say, judgments will be repeated from different angles, right?
Yeah.
The trumpets and so they're all the same, but he's looking at it from different perspectives, different nuances. So it's not 3.5 years here and 3.5 years there. 3.5, those are the same period of time. They coincide. They're not to be added.
Okay, I see.
So there's nothing in Revelation 12 that says that's a different 3.5 years from the 3.5 years of Revelation 11 that results in the two witnesses being killed. And then 3.5 days later, notice again, 3.5 days, they're raised and caught up in the cloud.
Yeah.
That has to be read into it and assumed. Get out of here, cat. In order to get the 7 years.
Yeah. So do you just believe that the tribulation is an undisclosed period of time?
I do believe that there will be a tribulation of the man of lawlessness because he will arise. And there are many Christians who spoke of, like Irenaeus, that the man of lawlessness has yet to arise. So they're waiting for his coming. And I know the Catholic Church believes that. I just got to be careful with the Orthodox Church. Orthodox Church, you believe that same thing, right? The Antichrist will arise in the latter days. That's Catholic teaching. There will be the man of lawlessness, the man of sin, the Antichrist. This was believed by many Christians long after John, which means that they saw that the man of lawlessness had not risen yet. So he's still future. The one we call man of sin, man of lawlessness, who is the Antichrist, the beast of Revelation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's still to arise. He's still future. But Antiochus is a picture of him.
So the pastors and stuff who preach a 7-year tribulation,
Yeah, that's modern.
do they get that from Daniel, or are they getting
Yes.
that from adding the three and a
No,
half years?
they get it from Daniel, and then when you push them, then they're going to try to find something in Revelation and connect the 3.5 years here with a different 3.5 years later in the book. And you say, on what basis do you see them as two different periods, as opposed to the same time, that these 3.5 years are concurrent and coincide with each other?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, brother, you are not going to find up until 200 years ago a view of a 7-year tribulation and a pre-tribulation rapture.
Yeah.
You will find evidence in the early church for what's called historic pre-millennialism. You'll find early Christian writers and fathers like Irenaeus and Justin the Martyr that taught that Christ will come down and will usher in a 1,000-year reign. But then as time went on, others took the 1,000-year reign as being symbolic of Christ's reign that began when he ascended to heaven, and that it's not literally 1,000 years, but simply symbolic for Christ ruling until the end of the age when he comes and raises the dead. And one of the major voices that championed that view is St. Augustine. And because St. Augustine has such a profound influence on the Western Church, he then influenced Christians to adopt his position, millennialism.
Yeah, no millennium.
No, not no. When they say yes, it's negation, but it's not, there isn't. They're saying it's symbolic, it's spiritual, and it began when Christ ascended to heaven and reigns with his saints. So is a negation, but it doesn't mean no, there isn't. It means that it's not a literal 1,000 years on earth. It's a spiritual number signifying Christ's reign that began when he ascended to heaven.
So, and then also when
If you give
people
me a
talk
final
about,
question, because I don't want to make it about eschatology. So,
okay,
so what
well,
else?
thank you for answering those questions.
Give
I
me one more.
appreciate it.
So ask me one more.
Okay, the last one, when people talk about when the beast comes to power and he makes a peace treaty with all of the nations, are they getting that from Daniel as well?
The only place where you find the ruler making a covenant, confirming covenant for a week is Daniel 9:27. Now, if you know of some other passage where it says he makes a peace treaty, is that stated in Revelation?
No.
Do you find that in 2 Thessalonians 2?
No.
1 Thessalonians 4?
No.
Matthew 24?
No.
It comes from a misreading of Daniel 9:27.
Yeah. Because the prince is the Mashiach.
Exactly. And why is it called his people? The same reason why God could say Cyrus is my Messiah, though he's a pagan, or Nebuchadnezzar is my servant. Because whenever God enables a kingdom to come to prominence, preeminence, and subjugate other nations, that is because God has decreed it and God has allowed it and permitted it for a reason. And he's going to work through those nations to bring about his perfect will. So in that sense, he can call them my servants, my people.
Mm-hmm.
I went through that. You saw that in the series. Yeah. So, brother, you're going to really, really be hard pressed to find any solid, unambiguous, explicit proof from scriptures for a 7-year tribulation and a peace treaty that will be enacted by the Antichrist in the latter days. It's not there. It's based on one verse that in the context makes much better sense, that it's referring to Christ, confirming the curses of the Mosaic law, the covenant, that if God's people fail to obey the covenant, especially obeying the prophet like Moses, the Messiah, then he's going to confirm the curses of the covenant, which includes Israel being scattered and destroyed by the nations, which God did in the Jewish war, resulting in the temple being destroyed for over 1900 years and the Jews being scattered for over 1900 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you answering these.
Q&A in general, come and ask me these questions because your questions are good. I want to answer them, but I do want to stay on this topic to finish.
Yeah, you're just a hard man to get a hold of. So when I saw you on live, I'm like, I'm just going to jump on.
All right. Well, look for when I say Q&A. I do those. I'll do them once every couple of weeks, God willing.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a blessed night.
God bless you, brother.